If you want a plane that allows you to play offensively, better go watch some another plane review. But if you want to play very offensively, overkill everything around you and certain advanced things unavailable to most aircraft of similar battle rating, this vehicle is exactly what you want. The American plane P-61C-1, also called Black Widow, has so many ways to destroy opponents that depending on the situation you can choose which one suits you the best. When I looked at plane stats, I already was preparing for a fun gameplay. And yet, the plane was even better than I expected. First of all, my attention was captured by bombs. Massive bombs for a fighter, 1000 pounds each. Black Widow can carry 4 of them, and at plane's 4.0 battle rating, not every bomber can carry so much secondary load, especially in American tech tree. So when it comes to close air support in ground realistic battles, this aircraft really stands out. Its bombs are so powerful that they can easily destroy multiple tanks at once, opponents' fighters behind you, and your allies. I was extremely careful where I dropped them, and still I destroyed a couple of friendly units despite them being quite far. At least that's what I thought. And when I played Black Widow after using weaker bombs, of course I kept forgetting to increase the bomb fuse delay every time, and that never ended well. With great bombs comes great responsibility. The first release drops 2 bombs at once, while the rest are released separately. So in total you can attack ground targets 3 times. Since the explosion is relatively big, it's hard to miss your targets unless opponents' SPAAs or fighters interfere with your peaceful bombing of their team members, and forces you to get rid of that additional weight under your wings in a rush. And here we face a dilemma. Ideally, as soon as you respawn, you should try to destroy all opponents' planes first and then start bombing their team without rush. But at the same time, it will be harder to deal with fighters as long as you have those bombs. Tough decision to make. Most of the time, my priority was fighters. The Black Widow is not very maneuverable fighter, so don't expect to outturn other planes. But why would you even try to outmaneuver them? After respawning, all opponents will be in front of you, and as long as they are in front of you, there is a good chance to get rid of them without engaging in a dogfight. It is possible because the plane has a very good firepower. 4 20mm autocannons can destroy opponents' fighters in one short burst, which gives an opportunity to end the fight very quickly and prevent air combat maneuvering from happening in the first place. 800 pieces of ammunition allows you to spray as many rounds as you need, and in head-on engagement it allows you to start shooting from further away. The logic is simple. As long as you don't let that fighter get on your 6, there will be no dogfight to lose, and then you can proceed bombing the ground units in peace. But sometimes opposite team planes will get behind your aircraft. Maybe you couldn't hit them while they were still in front of you, or maybe they respawned while you was in the middle of a bombing run. In any way, you are at disadvantage, since the Black Widow is quite a heavy fighter. Probably you won't be able to outmaneuver them, and all the armored glass and plates are mostly located at the front. The plane is more vulnerable when attacked from behind. So the situation is bad, but it's not hopeless, because this plane has a very nice turret. 4 high-caliber Browning machine guns that can rotate 360 degrees. This is a last resort weapon, since using it means that the opponent is already on your 6 and you cannot reach him with main cannons. And maybe in most cases you won't be able to protect yourself and survive, but at least you will have a chance to take the opponent to hangar with you. The only thing to be aware of is that the turret is located on top of the aircraft and has only 3 degrees gun depression. So opponents attacking you from below will be in a blind spot. Luckily, most of them don't know or don't care about that, so I never had problems with that. The turret not only helps to get rid of fighters when you control it, the gunner AI might start shooting at nearby planes even if you were so focused at bombing that didn't even notice that someone is about to attack you. Sometimes, despite it happens very rarely, the gunner might even hit whatever he is shooting at, and you get a frag out of the blue without doing anything on your part, just staying close to opponents. Though in most cases you have to do all the hard work. Turret's activity simply tells you about the presence of opponents' aircraft nearby in case you didn't notice them. You might have a reasonable question now. Why gunner? Isn't this radar that takes the whole screen the thing that should make me aware of opponents' aircraft? Well, in all my battles with this plane, I haven't been in a situation when radar would tell me about a plane I wasn't aware of, so I was ignoring radar most of the time. Or maybe because I was ignoring it, I never saw what it shows. Anyway, personally for me, it wasn't helpful. Another feature of this plane that is not too helpful is the engine fire extinguisher. It allows you to put out the flaming engine so the fire cannot spread and burn the whole wing. It wasn't too helpful because in most cases when you are attacked, the pilot gets knocked out, the wings get ripped off, fuel tanks explode, your pets are being sent to the glue factory. Usually it's massive physical and emotional damage. Very rarely the only damage is engine fire. But unlike the radar, there were at least 3 cases when a fire extinguisher was useful and saved my plane. By saving I mean allowed me to get back to the airfield, since once the fire stops, that engine won't work anymore. And then Black Widow can barely stay in the air. It cannot continue maneuvering around the battlefield without repairing the engine first. So a fire extinguisher is useful, but only in very specific situations, and then you have to get to the airfield anyway. By the way, do you know how a Black Widow is called when it's on fire? Widow's firewall. Or the place where the gunner is located. Widow's office. The front of the wing? Edge. The bombs? Widow's exploder. In general, this plane is designed to deal damage in all the ways possible: bombs, autocannons or turrets, and each of these things deal a lot of damage. Not every plane has such heavy bombs, 420mm autocannons or quadruple high-caliber Browning turret, and I am not aware of single plane that would have all these things at once, definitely not at such low battle ratings. The biggest Black Widow's issue is that it's not as maneuverable as single-engine fighters, but it's fair trade-off considering how many useful things the plane has. I would rate it 9 exploders out of 10. In theory, you can destroy a lot of targets with this plane, especially if you use armor-piercing rounds, so that after using all bombs, you can deal with lighter vehicles as well using autocannons. But that requires your team to have air supremacy, otherwise you will be attacked by more maneuverable fighters, and their forward-facing weaponry is usually more powerful than Black Widow's turret. Nevertheless, even in those situations, this plane has a chance to punish the attacker. P-61C-1 is a nearly perfect aircraft. I'm How to Play Lead and I approve this message.